case contains. A Royal Grade 500 caliber 450 caliber double-barrel Holland & Holland Nitro Express, the most magnificent rifle ever made. It contrasts with a portable library of about 6 dozen pocket-sized books, ranging from the Apocrypha to the Pensées of Pascal, all bound in pigskin and shelved in a custom-made aluminum valise. He gazes through eager pince-nez at the prehistoric landscape opening ahead. Waves of bleached grass billow in all directions. Baobab trees, pale gray and oddly elephantine, writhe amid anthills the color of dried blood. Black men and women, naked as the stick figures in cave paintings, stare expressionlessly as he bears down upon them. He will have to get used to that opaque scrutiny wherever he treks in Africa. It is a look that neither absorbs nor reflects the stone face of savagery. Less disconcerting, but just as foreign, are the birds that flap and flash around the locomotive's progress. Tiny iridescent sunbirds, green bee-eaters, yellow weavers and rollers. A black and white hornbill rising so late from the track he could catch it in his hands. Much as he loves all feathered things, the zoologist in him is distracted by horizon-filling herds of wildebeest, congoni, waterbuck, impala, and other antelope. Errant zebras have to be tooted off the rails. Long-tailed monkeys curlicue from tree to tree. A dozen giraffes canter alongside in convoy, their tinker-toy awkwardness transformed into undulant motion. Polish his lenses as he may, he cannot see the Savo Reserve, this great fragment of the long-buried past of our race, through 20th century eyes. The word race, with its possessive pronoun, comes easily to him, connoting not color but culture. Even when culture is at its most primitive, as here, something in him thrills at the prospect of soon being where there is no culture at all. Either these flora and fauna are reluctantly giving way to him, as an armed intruder from the future, or he is, in a sense, regressing into them, finding again the dark continent he embraced as a child, in a copy of David Livingstone's missionary travels and researches in South Africa. Before he could read that book, let alone manage its weight, he had dragged it around his father's Manhattan townhouse, begging adults to tell him the pictures. Elephants spiked with assegais, surging snap-jawed hippos, a lion mauling a white man. From then on, the rule of tooth and claw in nature seemed as supreme as his own success at becoming one of the governing class. At puberty, he had set out to prove that it was possible for the frailest of small boys, nearly dead at 3 from asthma and nervous diarrhea, to punish bone and muscle till both grew strong. If an overstrained heart fluttered in protest, it must be ignored. "Doctor," he had said on leaving college, "I'm going to do all the things you tell me not to do. If I've got to live the sort of life you have described, I don't care how short it is." Privately, he allowed for 60 years. At first, paradoxically, he had had to struggle free of privilege. His eminence at 22 as the head of one of New York City's 400 best families disqualified him for politics, in the opinion of the rough professionals who dominated the state Republican Party. Hustling for votes was not the business of a young gentleman with a magna cum laude Harvard degree. So he had fought, if not with tooth and claw, then with whatever weapons, blunt or subtle, cleared his path, north to Albany as assemblyman from the Silk Stocking District, west to Dakota Territory as ranchman and deputy sheriff, south to Washington as civil service commissioner, back to New York City as police commissioner, south again to Washington as assistant secretary of the Navy. In the process, he won wide admiration for political skills so great as to render him unstoppable in his quest for power. If he was not alone in plotting the Spanish-American War, he did more than anyone else in the McKinley administration to bring it about. Then, as colonel of his own volunteer regiment, Roosevelt's Rough Riders, and generalissimo of its faithful press corps, he transformed himself into a military hero. Fresh out of uniform at 40, he became governor of New York, and at 42, vice president under the re-elected William McKinley. In September 1901, an assassin's bullet made him president of the United States. Not surprisingly, given his physical and rhetorical